everyone, I am Rebecca from ChemKnits and welcome to the development of the 2019 ChemKnits Chanukah sock yarn colorway. This is the non-sparkle sock version. Right now, I am planning to play with Knit Picks Fuschia. I say planning because as I develop this skein and this colorway for the first time, I might decide that I want something a little different. Maybe I want higher twist, maybe I want the skein that comes a little larger commercially, but we'll get into that as we are dyeing. Now, the platinum sock that I was using for the Chanukah samplers is very similar to Knit Picks Stroll. Both of those are 75-25 superwash merino nylon. I think Stroll is 462 yards per 100 grams, and the platinum sock is 461 yards per 100 grams. So those are very, very similar. Fuschia is only 436 yards per 100 grams. It is a little bit denser. It also uses a higher quality merino than the Stroll, and so it makes it a little more luxurious. I absolutely love this yarn base, and I don't play with it often enough. One big difference between Fuschia and, say, Stroll or platinum sock is that it is a physically shorter skein, which means that if I were to hand paint, there's less room to work with. Now, I could reskein, and if I was only going to do 2 or 3 colorways, that might be something I would do. However, since I'm going to be doing over 10 in this colorway today, I want to make sure that the prep and the fiber prep is more on the back end than the front end. So we're going to give my vision a shot on the Fuschia, and if I don't like it, then I'm going to switch to a different yarn base. The intro was getting long enough that I decided to pop in front of the camera to give some thoughts. When I'm developing a colorway that I want to do for multiple skeins, more than what I'm able to do in one pot at one time, there are a few things that I consider. I consider reproducibility. Will I be able to easily do this same colorway or something really close again? So this means some like leave no dye behind, or things that are completely unmeasured and unknown or sort of off the table. I also think about scalability. Is this something that I can do over and over and still have somewhat consistent results? Or, you know, would it be really hard and time consuming for me to do this, 10 or a dozen times? If it's a technique that I can only do one skein at a time and it takes me, 5 hours to do that one skein, it might be something that's harder to scale up than if it's something I can do 3 skeins at a time and, quickly have a rotation or something like that. Yeah, so I have a vision. I have a vision in my head that feels so Chanukah-y, and it's something that I've sort of alluded to maybe last year in one of the episodes, but I want to give it a shot, and I hope that you guys like it, and I hope that I like it. So yeah, we'll see, but let's go and have some fun. Anyway, I'm going to pre-soak the one skein for at least 30 minutes. I could be doing 2 or 3 skeins at once for this trial. However, I'm sticking with 1 because I have a feeling that I might choose to shift some of the colors, if not the base, after the sample. And so, yeah, that's why I'm starting with 1 skein. Now, again, this is the prototype phase, but I have here the 1 skein of Fuschia laid out in the pan, and you can see that it is shorter than the Stroll because it doesn't really need to be scrunched up as much in here. But we're going to be focusing right now on one end. Right here I have 8 cups of water, 2 tablespoons of white vinegar, and again, this is the prototype, so I'm going for the feel. But the final technique that I use for layering the colors on this end will change depending on what I think about how this comes out. So right now let's warm this up and we'll see what we got. So my vision is to have a dark color with a pop of color. And I'm thinking about, like, if you were to squint your eyes and see the flame of the Chanukah with its candles in the dark room. That's the vision. And so I don't know if we will actually do this with, say, liquid dyes, or if I'll come in and do it with dry dye powder later on, but I'm starting with some Dharma Fluorescent Lemon. And I'm using the spoon to spread it out. And I'm going to come in with some Fluorescent Fuschia as well. These are both 1% stock solutions. There, and sort of random. I don't mind if the yellow gets overtaken here, because it probably will. But I want these colors to feel bright. I could go and get some Fluorescent Safety Orange as well, but we're feeling fire and flamey. I am going to wash some of this pink further down, because then we're going to try dipping it into black. And whether or not I want to then shift to something that's cooler toned, like a navy or a gunmetal, then the black, that will be seen. But so most of this will become black, and I'm going to do that with a kettle dyed technique later on versus layering it in here, because I want to control where that color goes. But I'm liking the yellow and orange feels, so I'm actually going to add some more yellow on to this pink to sort of dampen that pink feel. But I like how we're getting a flamey colorway here that is fluorescent. Now, it won't be a problem if we get some of this color on the other side of our yarn, because we're going to be over dyeing that. So that would not be an issue for this colorway. And so maybe this might honestly be one that I might want to do 1 or 2 skeins at a time for this part, so that way I am able to have things be rather spread out down here. What I don't want, and I'm going to go up a little higher even, what I don't want is for it to get too pastel feeling. I want to feel those bright, flamey neons. And the fun thing will be that then we can go look at this under a black light and look at those colors really pop and shine. And so that's my vision. How well this works is gonna be left to be seen. And this is one reason why I'm a little concerned about the Fuschia being shorter. But again, it's a little concerned. And so we will be covering most of this with black, I think. I think that that's what will work best. But again, we will see as this goes what we think, how we think it works best. And honestly, this is pretty good so far. I'm adding this color. What I don't know also is the proportion of the colors, like how, I think that I'm going to want the black to go to about here. I'm going to want it to be mostly black, but that is something that I am thinking about as well. And then just going over here. I'm pretty happy with the color saturation, and you can see that we've got color in that pan. We will probably end up with color all around to an extent, but being able to move it and let these colors spread in this way is pretty awesome. Okay. I'm enjoying layering the colors like this a lot. And I think that doing it this way is more reproducible than if I were to be using dry powder. Now, I definitely could have waited more time in between those flips, and you see we're getting some color here on this other side, but given that I'm planning to get this side heavy into some black, I am not worried about those light washes of color. What I do want to make sure now is that we absorb all of the color that we have in here. So what I'm going to do is add a nice healthy splash of some white vinegar down on our flamey end, and I think it's great. I think it's really great. Ooh, my concern though, back to my concern, I don't want it to feel Halloween. So I'm worried that, and maybe I'm going to need to like flip the script and do a lot more of the pink and less of the yellow versus the way that I did it here. Because orange and black might feel very Halloween. This is what I did not consider. Yeah, so maybe I'll want to go heavier with the pink. Even if I do a similar amount of yellow, just go even bigger with that pink so we see those reds and oranges in there a little more. That might be good. And I also might try adding some red color to the black to make it a little more like deep maroon-esque versus just like black. But I'm now going to leave this on low heat for I think 15 minutes, and then we'll come and check on the color. We turn this up and I'm going to turn off the heat. If we look, the water is looking really, really clear. We have definitely over-dyed this side some. So, I was talking about adding some red to the black. I think that we're going to do just the black, and then we can evaluate what we may or may not want more of in the future. But now I am going to gently drain a lot of this water, set it aside so the yarn can cool completely before we dip it into black. I lost count. There were either 16 or 20 cups of water in my 8-quart pot, and it is cold with no acid. And now we are going to add half a cup or 118 milliliters of our 1% stock solution of True Black. This will give a bit higher than a 1% DOS since we're not going to dip the entire skein, but we're ready to go. The yarn has cooled off and our tie is currently on the palest end. That is not what we want because we want to dip from the other end. So I have just shifted it so that way our tie is at the most pigmented end. I didn't want the tie at the pigmented end in the beginning because we wanted to make sure we could get the color where we wanted it. And now with the dye bath cool, let's go in to the black. And right now you can see we've got like a glazed feel. You can see some of those colors poking through. I'm not sure. Ooh, but even that looks really pretty. How far I want to go, but probably here. So how am I going to do this? Let's hang on, and I'm going to get, maybe I'll need to use the bigger pot so then I can have the water level lower. But I'm going to get another zip tie. That moment when you thought you were filming, but you weren't. I have secured the one zip tie to another zip tie to the top of my microwave, and we're not quite where I want the water level to be. So I'm going to add more liquid, and that is a lot better and closer to what I want. One of the things I was commenting on before is just the like dip of the color in that little bit is so pretty and glazed that I'm definitely going to want to play with that as just a whole technique more in the future. Let's see. I might still, okay, if I'm going to leave that, the tongs like that, then I will want more water. Okay, let me figure out how I'm going to rig this. Remember when I was like, reproducibility is key? Well, we still definitely want some reproducibility and scalability here. But let's add 1, 2, 3, 4 tablespoons of white vinegar. And I'm carefully going to move this yarn around. I don't want it to shift further up. It is reading very greenish right now. And so I might want to be careful what the undertones are on here in the future. But again, this is why we're doing the test, to see if we have enough coverage with our black. I am going to go ahead and let this sit for 10 minutes before we even turn on the heat. This will allow for some slow absorption of that black onto our yarn. But will we successfully over dye it? I'm not sure if it's enough black, but still you can see that there's a ton left in the pot. The 10-minute wait is just to allow us to get a little more even coverage. And I'm not gonna lie, the black, especially up in here where it's looking a little green, this is feeling very Halloween. Very, very Halloween. So I might need to rethink this entirely. Even knowing, okay, I want it more pink and things like that, it might still feel too Halloween. But anyway, I am now going to turn on the heat so that way we can start setting this color. And yeah, I'm going to heat this, I think at first for 20 minutes, and then we'll come take a look. After 20 minutes, there is still a lot of color left in there. We're not even that hot yet, but I am going to add a big, big splash of vinegar because I realized that 4 tablespoons in all this water was not very acidic at all. The color is definitely reading more black, but I think that this idea is feeling very Halloween still. But I'm going to let this heat another 20 minutes and then we'll be back. I've turned off the heat. There is a tad bit of color in there, but most of the color is in the yarn and it's no longer looking green to me, but we'll see when it dries. It's definitely reading Halloween though. So I'm just, you know, a year early. I'm gonna let this cool and absorb the rest of that color. And then we will wash it and come up with plan number 2. Well, would it really be a Chanukah special if we didn't get a Chanukah oops? Yep, this doesn't reflect a neonization of candlelight. This is Nightmare Before Chanukah, or Nightmare Before Christmakkah. I'm seeing a tiny bit of bleeding, but I'm not super concerned. Let's add some soap. Don't get me wrong, this colorway is really fun. I think that people would just be really confused. Really, really, really confused. Wow, that's a lot of bleeding, which I am not used to seeing with this black. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna pop all it into some water and add a lot of vinegar and let this soak for probably a couple of hours because I have to go pick up the kids from school. But then we'll come back and we'll try washing it again. Honesty time. It has not been several hours. It has been a few days. This has been sitting in some water and vinegar. And honestly, I'm not sure like if they were bleeding or if there's just some residual something. I'm seeing interesting. So the orange does not look tainted, but there is definitely something in here that needs rinsing out. Bummer. Okay, hopefully if I thoroughly rinse this a few times, things will get better. But I'll check back in and let you know. Okay, literally the next one started to look better. So let's try adding some soap. The bottom of this pan does have some color on it. So yeah, I actually think that it is looking good. Maybe there was just something that needed to be rinsed out. Oh, nope. Nope. See, I got all optimistic, but then that is absolutely some bleeding. What the? It's just weird because I'm not used to having the black bleed. Clearly from here, I'm going to keep rinsing just to see. But one thing we could do is add vinegar to it and then steam set it again. But this is weird to me. I don't think I added that much black. I just wanted to double check to see if the black was 2% or something. But even so, that shouldn't be causing an issue. Alright, I'm going to keep washing off camera, and I'll let you know if we make any improvement. I don't have a spot on the stove free right now. I did add some hot water to here, and then I added a tiny bit of vinegar. And that is actually helping. So I'm going to let this cool off, and then I'll try rinsing again. Okay. This time, I mean, that's looking pretty good. Pretty good. The water that I'm rinsing with is now cool. I don't think I'm going to do soap again. I think that if in these next few rinses I don't see color sort of leaking out, then I will call it. First pass, not bad. You guys, nothing is so, I mean, given the amount of color in here, that isn't bad, but I don't like having color bleeding. So, alright, I would say this is looking pretty good. I'm going to rinse it a few more times and then hang up. Put the yarn through the spin dryer and hang it up to dry. Phew! What an oopsie. Here is the finished Chanukah oopsie yarn. I don't think that you can really appreciate how bright and vibrant this orange is with the pink and yellow in there. It is absolutely a saturated neon electric color. Looking at it, I do get the flame vibes that were my inspiration. However, the combination of this fiery orange color with the black just reads Halloween. Doesn't quite read Chanukah. It's a fun colorway, but I imagine there would be confusion if people were to open this up. So I am going to go a different route and change directions completely for the limited edition Chanukah colorway. But who knows, maybe a Chanukah oopsie like this will be a new tradition. Will I have an oops next year? Make sure you are subscribed to the ChemKnits Tutorials YouTube channel, turn on notifications, and like the video. I don't have official plans for Chanukah 2020 yet, but I imagine that I will do something. The Chanukah series for this year, though, is not yet over. So check out that playlist and stay tuned for more new fun videos as we round out 2019. I am Rebecca from ChemKnits, and if you love the yarn that I dye, no matter what the season or holiday that's on the horizon, go and check out the ChemKnits Creations Etsy shop. There are hundreds of skeins of hand-dyed yarn featured in my videos, And when you buy yarn, not only do you get beautiful yarn you can play with, but you are supporting the content here at the same time. So it's a win-win-win for everyone. I am Rebecca from ChemKnits. Happy Chanukah, and thank you so much for watching.